Government to assist those affected by trough system, which caused $45 million in damages. SIDEMA assesses damage caused by heavy rains in Dominica and 2 other Caribbean states, and restorative work to damaged infrastructure to begin at the earliest possible time. Hello and welcome to this edition of National Focus. I am your presenter, Tarnia Green.
And I'm Kimani. Stay with us for details of these stories and others after the break.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
Why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The government of Dominica has taken a decision to assist those affected by last week's low-level trough system, which affected the Roseau Valley, Roseau South and Soufrière constituencies. Heavy rainfall on the morning of December 24 caused extensive damage to homes, businesses and public infrastructure in the south of the island, blocking villages and leaving commuters stranded. Information from the Office of the Prime Minister indicate that government will provide 100% of the assessed value to repair dwelling houses and will provide 60% of assessed value of personal household effects destroyed as a result of the floods. Government will also provide limited assistance to businesses who suffered damage. In addition, government will pay rental cost for a limited period for those who have had to be relocated as a result of last week's disaster. The total cleanup cost is estimated at $830,000 and will include clearing of roads, drainage works, and dredging of rivers. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works has indicated to the Cabinet that the total estimated cost for rehabilitation and mitigation for the affected areas stands at $45 million EC dollars. The Prime Minister Skerrit told the nation via an interview on state-owned radio Monday morning that in the Forcani, Cabanis, Loda and Trafalgar areas, retaining walls and drains would have to be built while culverts would have to be replaced. He said in the community of Beaubois, similar works will have to be done in that area. He added that in Point Michel, Champagne area and Green Valley and Sibuli, river defenses would have to be constructed there. In Soufrière, Scott's Head area, road works, retaining works and drainage works will be done. In Girardel, Eggleston area, road works and drainage works would have to be done. The Prime Minister said in the Fortney Newtown area, river walls will have to be constructed to better control the flow of water from Fortney across to the road to Newtown and down to the sea. He added that the control of water from Mont Prosper into Watenwaven and Coptall will also be given attention. He concluded by saying that in Grand Bay, in the area of Maranatha Square, a crossing would have to be built there.
Technical officials from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and other agencies paid a special visit to Dominica on Sunday to get a first-hand impression of the technical needs of the country following last week's trough system, which affected several communities in the south of the island. The team, headed by Executive Director Ronald Jackson, met with officials from the Office of Disaster Management, the Ministries of National Security and Public Works, as well as other government agencies. The mission team also comprised representatives from the United Nations Development Programme, the Regional Security System, the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology, and the Caribbean Media Corporation. On Sunday, the team had the opportunity to visit communities affected by the heavy rains and floods which impacted the island last week. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Nicholas Bruno, told GIS News on Monday that following the tour, the SIDEMA team had a better understanding of the immediate needs and priorities of the country.
The main purpose for the mission was to gain a better understanding of what occurred in the various islands, to identify technical support needs, and also to explore medium to long-term requirements for the various islands.
He said the team was able to identify technical support priorities and identified the medium and long-term support requirements.
We also looked at some of the possible support that's available. Ian King, the regional rep for UNDP Disaster Risk Reduction, was also part of the team, and he spoke a little about some of the initial meetings they had with the donor agency, donor community, and some of the possible support that's available for the islands during this period of time.
The SIDEMA team last weekend also visited other affected countries, including St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Following last week's trough system, the SIDEMA coordinating unit has been in discussion with the sub-regional focal point in Barbados and the affected countries regarding the priority needs. The broader SIDEMA system has also been responsive to the needs of affected states. Given the extent of the impact of the individual countries, the regional response mechanism has been mobilized to provide specific targeted support in the areas of health, agriculture, and National Emergency Operations Center support.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works will embark on restorative work to damaged infrastructure at the soonest possible time. Public Works Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore said on Monday that as a matter of priority, retaining walls will be installed and roads will be repaired in critical areas affected.
There's another significant aspect going forward that we have to look at, and that is the restoration aspect of it, in terms of restoring some of the roadways that have been compromised insofar as safety is concerned. For matter of fact, in the Champagne Point Michel area, the road there is significantly undermined, and of course, as a consequence, safety is compromised. In the valley area, more so Fokani and Beaubois, Fort Lee, a number of other places, and we have to ensure that we put in place proper mitigating factors going forward.
The minister says technical support from regional and international partners will be critical in getting the affected areas back to normal. He explained that the ministry is now in the process of finalizing plans to address those concerns.
Going forward, we are starting to put systems in place from the ministerial standpoint, and of course to ensure that we started the designing of some of the concrete walls, or river walls, that we may have to do. We have to move immediately to significantly rehabilitate the road, the Champagne area going to Soufriere, because that area there, I mean, the road has been almost restricted to a one-way. And so we have to move in to do some slope stabilization and also to do some sea defense wall. And just before we take into Soufriere, we're also going to do some excavation, also to some stabilization to the slope, to make the road safer for vehicular traffic flow and pedestrians alike. So that is what we have put in place so far, and we want to give the people of Dominica the assurance, especially persons in the new town, Beaubois, of course, Point Michel, and Fokani area, and the other pockets that have realized some destruction as a result, because the people who live up at the upper section of Beaubois also realized some damage to the road infrastructure.
A report from the Ministry of Public Works has suggested that the government will require $45 million towards rehabilitation and mitigation efforts following last week's trough system.
Despite inclement weather conditions, several senior citizens of the villages of Girodel and Egliston showed up in large numbers on Sunday to enjoy lunch in a social setting. The activity, the first of its kind in that community, was organized by the Girodel Egliston Village Council with assistance from several business houses as well as individuals from that community. Nicole Girodel, clerk of the village council, extended warm welcome to those present and thanked the elderly for their contributions made in forging the way forward for the twin communities.
The village council over the years has organized a treat for the aged where we have distributed hampers to the elderly and needy during the Christmas season. But this year we have decided to honor you with a lunch with class. You have tailored a path for us to follow. Without you, we would not be here today, and so we thank you.
She applauded the efforts of all those who contributed to the success of the event. Chairman of the Village Council, Randy Alexander, also welcomed all present and encouraged them to make the day meaningful. Honorable Ambrose George, although preoccupied with assessing damages of the recent excessive rains, made a special effort to show up. Honorable George is the parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, which includes Girodel and Egliston. He took the time to meet and greet those present and wished his constituents well.
I want to wish all of you a very happy day today. And as usual, it's always a pleasure being with you. And I hope that you enjoy the day and that you have a wonderful Christmas and a very prayerful, happy and peaceful and loving 2014. So thank you very much and God bless you all.
The senior citizens also shared their sentiments about the activity.
As I said, I guess I'm looking like a senior citizen, although I don't feel like one. And I'm so happy to be recognized and counted as one of the senior citizens. And it feels so good to be here. It's happy to be there with the elder, the senior citizens, and I must say it's a very good gesture on the part of the village council who organized this occasion.
The activity was held at the Girodel Egliston Flower Growers Group Flower Show building.
And the spirit of sharing was also brought to the community of Newtown over the weekend. On Sunday, Honorable Ambrose George, parliamentary representative for Roseau South constituency, organized a lunch for the community of Newtown, especially for those in the Montego Bay area. Honorable George said this is the second of its kind for that community.
And as you can see, there are quite a number of young persons, even the ageable ones, who are coming forward and to receive a very sumptuous meal. There's all sorts of food, all sorts of meats, including ham, including turkey, fish and pork. And as you can see that the people are really enjoying and having fun this afternoon. It is also customary, we did it last year, that Popeye, the ice cream man, will come around to give them the dessert. So they will also receive a cone after they would have eaten their meal.
Honorable George also spoke highly of the community spirit exhibited by residents of the Montego Bay area. He says their support was demonstrated in their willingness to assist those affected by adverse weather conditions on Christmas Eve.
As we have just had that disaster in Newtown, these are the same guys who took to the road, had the shovels and the pickaxes, the cutlasses and the wheelbarrows to clean up the road voluntarily. And I think I feel very good being able to, every year for the past 2 years, to treat them with a lunch.
And that's news. Stay tuned for the tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Thanks for staying with us for the tip of the day. Today we'll talk to you about a few food safety tips when dining out. With all these festive meals that you will be enjoying this season, it's always necessary to pay attention to what you eat. There are foods known as high-risk foods for eating out.
Food poisoning bacteria can grow and multiply on some types of food more easily than others. Meat, dairy, eggs, seafood, and prepared salads are a few of those high-risk foods. When eating out, pay special attention to how these high-risk foods are prepared, cooked, stored, and served.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Kimani.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to join us again tomorrow.